Watch me.
TK is the maintenance manager here at the Fighter Factory.
I wasn't sure if I was scared or excited.
Right. Last time we talked to TK, it was about World War II aircraft. It was awesome. It was May 25th back then. You had shorter hair back then.
About that much.
And the hangar deck will pay for your haircut if you'd like.
No, no. When I trip over it.
That's right.
They don't pay me to look pretty. They pay me to make airplanes fly.
Let's talk about that. How many are out here today?
13.
13.
13. We are gonna fly 13 World War I replicas today.
Wow. So these airplanes are down in your World War I hangar right next to the Fighter Factory, right?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, on a good day.
How many more are down there that you've been working on?
Well, this year it'll be 13. Next year, conservatively, I'm going to say we're going to be closer to 21, maybe 22.
Wow. You've got another DR1 down there.
Got another DR1. I'm waiting on an engine on. Was supposed to make it for this show, didn't. The Jenny is currently down because somebody promised me an engine and they didn't finish it.
Well, we won't name names.
Yeah, but they, I got two down for engine swaps. I got another 3 in work. So what do we got? We got, let's do the math here. So 13, 16. Yeah, so I'm going to be close to 20, 21. No, I got. You can't see it because I wear these. Wiggling my toes. Yeah. Hey, you know.
Mike, did you see something going on in the hangar yesterday, maintenance-wise? They were doing something in here, weren't they?
It was one of the pilots. They were doing a little action going on over there. The pilots were doing some practices through with their thing. I don't know if it's necessarily related to the maintenance side of it, though.
No, that's pilots dancing.
Pilot dancing.
Yeah, that's what we call pilot dancing.
There wasn't any girls there, though.
No.
Well, that's why it's pilot dancing.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Enough alcohol. Pilots don't need girls.
That's right.
Make sure you get that on tape.
It is.
We got it.
You changed the battery yesterday on a DR7?
On a D7.
D7.
Everybody wants to put an R in it. DRs are only the triplanes.
Gotcha. The D.
Because it stands for dry decker.
Dry decker.
Three wings.
I got you.
Everything else is a D7, D6, D, whatever. Except for the Eindecker. The Eindecker is just an Eindecker.
Eindecker?
It means one.
So are you guys
he just blew me away.
Yes.
Everybody here is A&P mechanics?
Everybody in my shop is either an A&P mechanic or I have 4 apprentices from the Aviation Institute of Maintenance in Chesapeake.
Wow.
I take four apprentices in the shop and teach these boys what it's like to work on real airplanes.
So there's no hazing with that, though, right?
None that I won't admit it here on film.
Special kind of indoctrination.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a special indoctrination. Let's put it that way.
That's right.
They kind of walk funny after, but it's all in fun.
Right.
But they actually.
There we go.
There we go. That was our 1.5 strutter that was originally used in the movie Flyboys.
That is the infamous.
That is it. When you looked at the movie and you saw him rescuing the girl and the kids from the Germans,
that was the plane.
That was the actual airplane. We bought it from the guy who owned it and used it for the movie and repainted it back into that specific scheme that it wore. Because in that movie it wore like 4 different schemes of paint.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They used it all over the place. They just kept piling on water-based paint, and then at the end they just washed it all off.
So today you're going to fly, all 13 airplanes. There's hopefully, right? There's some preventative maintenance that goes along with flying the airplanes, I'm sure. What will the team do tonight to prep for tomorrow's air show?
Well, this morning, let's start with this morning. This morning we pulled everything out, walked around, did our maintenance pre-flight on it, fueled it, oiled it, checked everything we can check, because again, unlike the World War II show, these airplanes weren't built in a factory somewhere. Right. All these airplanes were built pretty much in somebody's garage or hangar or something like that. These are all home-built airplanes.
Home-built experimental
home-built airplanes.
Right.
So it's a little different than dealing with a Mustang that they made thousands of and its stuff. It's just so we go through and make all kinds of safety checks and. We want to keep pilots alive.
Right.
What part of the FAA do you guys fall under? Are you a part?
Well, 91 follow. Yeah, we're all 91 on everything. It's just the fact that these are all experimental. Some experimental amateur built, some experimental exhibition, but they're all experimental. But we still fall under 91.
Okay. With the experimental, are any of these original, like the majority of the pieces or the frame from?
There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of early technology in them. For that, the biggest one I point out is our Hall Scott D7, which is actually in the hangar behind us.
This aircraft right here behind us.
Right.
We'll get a couple of snapshots.
That was built by a gentleman up in New York. He went over to Paris, to the Paris Museum, and the Paris Museum let him take all the major measurements and everything else to blueprint the original D7 that they have. And this was done in the 60s. Then, because he couldn't find a Mercedes engine for it, he put a Hall Scott in it. Hall Scott was a big engine manufacturer and was in business all the way up until the 70s. They actually made a lot of the engines. When you get on a bus, you might be sitting behind a Hall Scott engine still.
That's pretty cool.
But he got a Hall Scott engine for it, which is an original 1919 engine.
Here comes a low pass, TK. It's Pappy. Pappy's doing a low pass, I think.
No, that would be Nelson.
That's Nelson.
That's
okay.
Nelson in the 1.5 strutter.
It's about what, 30 feet, Ed, at most.
And technically, that was a touch and go. He actually touched his wheels down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ed, our pilot wants to.
I got to ask a question.
$5 per pilot question.
$5, that's cheap. So my question is, World
8
War I
inches.
aircraft, fabric. How do you develop the skill set in your guys to work with fabric? Do you have a
Well,
special team that does that?
for me, it was a little Italian guy about yay high with a rolled up newspaper. I called him Dad, but yeah, I mean, for the fabric work, you get the basics. You get the basics as you move along, and the old guys teach us young guys, and then us young guys turn into old guys and teach the next guys, and
So it's apprenticeship type, training.
Yeah, it's a progression, but for most of the home builders out there, they can actually learn how to do it by book. I mean, there's a process book that comes. You could buy it from Aircraft Spruce. You open it up, follow it, instructions, just like putting anything else together.
I'm sure there's a little more skill developed. I mean, you probably learn the science first or learn the technique first.
Pay attention.
Develop the skill.
Right. Because the fabric work is 50% art, 50% science.
Right.
You gotta.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, you gotta pay. As my dad used to say, you gotta pay attention to the details.
So TK, last time we were here, Whitey interviewed you. Whitey was at the table. Whitey's actually behind the mic this time, working the machine.
Right.
I know Chopper was here, Jack Screw was not here, but how since May 25th to now, how many resumes have you gotten from Whitey repeatedly to join the Fighter Factory?
I have now. If you walk down into the Fighter Factory and you walk into the rear bathroom, it is now totally wallpapered with his resume. Anybody who goes to the head in the Fighter Factory can now read all about Whitey.
That's right. They all know.
That explains all the funky emails.
He gets all these funky emails back and forth. That's great.
And that's before you start adding the guy's version of graffiti.
That's right. That's right. But we'd like to take a tour later, maybe if
Sure.
of the Fighter Factory with camera, if that's possible.
Sure.
I know
as long as I got time.
If you do have time, we're here again tomorrow. But
this isn't, as far as shows go, this is not a pressure cooker like May.
Right.
We got 13 airplanes, where in May we got 32.
Wow.
In May we have. There goes one of our Model Ts.
Model T just went by.
Yeah, I got a few more of them coming.
Yeah. Yeah, the engine cranker. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a big pressure cooker. The airplanes are much simpler. I don't have any twin engines yet. It's just, so I have a lot more time on this one. This is a funner show for us.
Well, for the fans, I know for Jack Screw and for Hobie and Raging Rick that are here, we'd like to do maybe with you or one of your resident artisans, maybe a walk around of the Mossy, if possible.
Yeah.
And we'll
try to fit together. You guys do a wonderful job, and my God, my Facebook exploded after you guys put stuff on there.
We're good at that.
Yeah. try to fit in whatever you guys want.
Absolutely.
You know, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
For the right reasons.
For the right reasons, right.
Well, TK, it's a pleasure, man. I know Johnny's Pappy's coming around again. We're going to try to get him come out of the airplane and interview him on his touch and go flights here. But you know, once again for the Hangar Deck podcast, Jack Shrew.
Yep, come on down if you're in the area. This is really cool.
Well, and the rest of the Fighter Factory crew would like to get up with you later.
We want to put them all together.
Yeah, definitely.
Can we're going to tag it explicit, so we don't want people watching us during that, only hearing us during that.
Yeah.
So if it's in the Fighter Factory, maybe in the maintenance office, that would be great.
Oh, we're Fighter Factory. We can do it right here on the ramp. We don't care.
All right.
What are they going to do? Fire us?
Well, I know a guy that wants to take your spot.
You may want to be careful.
Have it.
Yeah.
Have it.
Well, TK, thanks a lot again. I appreciate it. TK,
Yeah, man.
maintenance manager here at the Military Aviation Museum at the Fighter Factory. He's the guy that makes it happen. Him and his team make all these airplanes flyable for Jerry Yeagan's pilots. So for the Hangar Deck, for Mike.
Chopper Mike signing off.
Jack Screw Jesse.
You could drop the mic. No, don't drop the mic.
Hey, toss Mike.
Hangar Deck podcast. We're out.